How's it going? Thank you for your request. Sorry about the room. It's messy. We just got done doing a recording session. So I'm going to be showing you how to play the arrangement that I came up with for Toxic on the guitar and just some stuff on the bass. And I was kind of freestyling the whole thing, so just have fun with it and play with it and make it your own. But I'll show you the gist of it. So to start out, we're in the key of C. And on the guitar, if you play it where I played it, that'll be the 8th fret, right? So our first chord is going to be a C minor chord. I'm not sure exactly what type of C minor it is, but it is a C minor chord. So I wrap my thumb around, and I play the bass note here, and then I bar the whole chord to make this. Very simple. So in the beginning, I'm going... right? That's the intro. So you're just kind of like strumming that. That's the chord in the intro. And again, sorry I can't write tabs. I've never been able to, so I hope this can work. You know, just demonstration, watching it happen. So the next part will be when I come in on the 1, I go and I do a slide down. So that'll be sorry, I have to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so from the 6th fret, it'll be, you're gonna want to do a hammer on to the 8th fret, so like that. So it'll be, and you'll play that same chord in the intro. So do a slide down. Then the next part will be this. Just, it's kind of like a blues thing. I'm not sure if you're familiar with playing blues guitar, but basically whenever you're holding this chord, I mean, you could be playing this anywhere, right? Doesn't matter. You're in this blues box, right? Right, just that blues scale thing, if you're familiar with it. So whenever you do this hammer on of this chord, it's just, so you're basically playing this and then just barring a whole step above it, right? So you're on the 8th fret, so you're going to be going up to the 10th fret. So it's then, right? So after you do that part, you're going to go back to the 6th fret, and you're going to go, right? So it's basically 6th fret, E string, 8th fret, E string, 6th fret, A string, back to the 8th fret, E string, and then back to the 6th fret on the E string. So it's like this pattern that goes up and then goes down. So basically the whole thing so far is oops, sorry. Right? Then the next chord is going to be kind of a weird one. But basically it is this strange chord. I'm not sure what this is called, but basically you're going to put a bar on the entire fretboard on the 3rd fret, right? So it'll sound like this. You just bar the whole thing down from the A string. And then you take your pinky and you put your pinky on the 6th fret of the A string while keeping this barred chord. So basically it goes from this to this, right? It's kind of like this major 7, this inversion of it. I'm not sure exactly what the voicing is, but I've been playing these chords, you know, they just sound really cool. So on this song, I did this chord, and I kind of arpeggiate it, right? So up until this point, it's right to that chord. Then the last chord of the whole chord progression of that part will be a G7, which is, I think it's a G7. I'm sorry, I'm not too great with like theory and tabs and all that stuff, but I believe it is a G7. Basically, it's just Remember these minor chords we talked about in the beginning? Just all you have to do is play that same exact chord and then just add your middle finger on the G string of the next fret over, right? So if you're on the 3rd fret, right, playing this minor chord on the 3rd fret, right, you just take your middle finger and you add it on the G string of the next fret over, and it makes a G7. So you go from minor to major, right? It's really easy. So that's the chord we go to next. So the switch will be, and then we go back to the, right? And then it just repeats for the next part of the verse. So that is basically the whole verse. And like I said, in the video, I just kind of play around with it, but that's the gist of it. So let's just play the whole thing through. Right? So that's that part. Then let's go to the pre-chorus. So the pre-chorus is going to be the same chord, right? But I kind of like strum it up like, and then I just literally add the pinky barring the 10th fret. So I go from this chord, add the pinky barring the 10th fret from the G string below, and you get this. Right? While maintaining this. I don't know what these chords are called, but I've been playing them for many years and I just really like them. You know, I don't know what it is, but it just works kind of good right there. So I do that twice. Right? So this next chord is going to be thumb on the 11th fret of the E string, index finger on the 10th fret of the G string, middle finger on the 11th fret of the B string, and ring finger on the 12th fret of the D string. And this is the chord, right? So basically when you strum it, that's what you get. And you can play this chord anywhere, you know? It's just like a very fresh and clean sounding chord. I don't know. But that's what I play right there. So just, you know, get the finger for this, and that's the chord that I play. Feels kind of weird at first, but you'll get used to it, right? So you go from... Then, after we play this chord, we go back to the G7, right? So we just played this in the verse, so we know how to play this chord already, right? So then we just go back to the... Right? And then for the chorus, the little section before, we just play a power chord, literally just... A power chord is just, you know... We're going to be on the 9th fret of the E string. We're going to be on the 10th fret of the A string. And we're going to be on the 10th fret of the D string. And we just play those 3 strings. Right? So for the chorus, we're going to come down to the 3rd fret of the A string. And we're going to put our middle finger. We're going to take our ring finger and put it on the 3rd fret of the G string. And then we're going to take our pinky and we're going to put it on the 4th fret of the B string. And we're just going to kind of strum those strings, just those 3. Kind of mute the A string out with this finger. See how it's kind of getting muted? So, easy, just C minor. Or C minor 7 or something, I'm not sure what it is. So we play this, then we're going to want to go to this chord, which is another version of a 7 chord, just like the G7 we played. This is another version of that style of chord. So all it is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 6th fret of the A string, the 5th fret of the D string, and the 6th fret of the G string. Sorry, I'm trying to calculate all these fret numbers and stuff. So that's all we play. Just those 3 strings. And again, just like all these other chords we're playing, you can move these anywhere. So take these chords and, you can use them in your songs, right? You don't just have to play them on this song, right? You can take these chords and use them anywhere. So we're going to play this chord, then we're going to slide it down, half step, back down, then back to our original chord. So the chorus, we're just walking those chords down. So back to walk that down, we just play that same G7 and move it up half a step and just walk it down. So the whole chorus is right? So that's pretty much the whole thing on guitar. Just have fun with it and make it your own, man. Alright, now we're going to take a look at the bass part of it. Again, I just was kind of messing around, like just winging it in the moment. So things I do might be a little different, but I'll just show you the basis of it. So starting out, we just come in with a bass slide, and then, right? So basically you're just kind of grooving with the track, right? So the rhythm is just with a bass slide on the end, and then so this move will be 8th fret on the G string, and then a hammer on to the 10th fret of the G string. A hammer on is just whenever I'm sure you know what a hammer on is, but if you don't, then it's just whenever you press a note, you move your finger up without moving this hand. So it's just, right? So just play the groove, right? So that little move, oops, sorry. So that's where we are right now. Then the next move will be right? So it's just, which will be 8th fret of the E string up to the 11th fret of the E string, then walk down to the 10th fret, back to the 8th fret. So then walk back up, walk up to the 11th fret. So the lick is, and then you play the rhythm, right? So the whole thing together from the beginning is, right? So that's where we are as of now. So we're gonna go down to the 3rd fret of the E string, which is G, and then after we do that, we're gonna go up to the 6th fret, of the E string, back up to the 8th fret of the E, which is C, which is the key we're in. So after we do, slide down to and we do that little lick one more time. which is what we did in the beginning of the verse part. So just add it again as a little turnaround in the end of that, going back to the second part of the second half of the first verse. So the whole thing up until this point is and then we're back at the second half of the first verse. So the pre-chorus for the bass will slide down to a low C on the 5th string, actually, this time. So if you have a 5-string bass, we're gonna be going down to a C on the low string, which is the 1st fret of the B string, the low B string here. So just, that's all we're really playing. It's really easy. And then we're gonna go up to, right? So this is the 4th fret of the B string. So we're gonna walk it up, then back to that G, that 3rd string on the E, the 3rd fret on the E string, that G. So we're gonna go up to that, and then we cut off, and then that's when everything, the guitar goes to its little part. So basically, this whole pre-chorus up until this section will be just the chorus is going to be the exact same notes as the guitar played. So we're going to start in C, on the low C, and we're going to just go then remember right? So we're just taking it from the 1st fret on the low B string. We're walking it up to the 4th fret of the B string, and then we just go down to the 3rd fret, down to the 2nd fret, back to the 1st fret. Then we slide it back up to the 4th fret. Then we go to that half step up from the G, which is the 4th fret of the E string, and then walk it down to the 3rd fret of the E string, and then we just repeat the whole thing. So up until this point, the chorus is and then it just repeats. Just have fun with these parts, man, and do what you want to do with them. Use the chords, like I said, you can move these chords around anywhere you want, like especially with the guitar, you can just move those chords around and use them in your songs if you find inspiration from them. But that's pretty much it, and thank you for your patronage on Patreon. I appreciate you, man. Have a good day.